Chapter 8. Welcome to the Foam Pit. As you beat back the beast and gain some control over your thoughts, you create an opening to make new choices to create a better life for yourself. Don't expect to fix everything in your life all at once, or ever for that matter, but do expect to move your emotional set point upward on a consistently more positive trend line as we move through the 7 life hacks. Our final 3 hacks equip you to cope with life outside your mental shit show, with other people, events, responsibilities, and your body. Before I unveil Hack 5, I need to conjure some appropriate context about life in our external world. What I'm about to say is every bit as off the wall as what I've said about the source of your thoughts and how to improve them. So, don't expect me to insist love and compassion are the solutions to your life's shortcomings. All you need is love. Might work for some people, but not for folks suffering from chronic depression and anxiety. We need hacks to cope with the external shit show. So let's get started. Why are we here? First, a smidgen of background discussion is necessary. If at any point it strikes you as completely irrelevant to relieving your misery, hang in there with me anyway. This is important, and it will consume only a few pages. These pages are important because we must form a framework to support your choices and actions in daily life. The enduring question, why are we here, should be a reasonable starting point. Yet it's fraught with difficulties. After centuries of careful consideration and analysis by clever minds in diverse civilizations, mankind is arguably more confused than ever by this simple question. For starters, where exactly is here? And who exactly are we? Yes, you're probably sitting on a seat somewhere you can pinpoint on a map as you read this sentence. But the great scientific minds among us agree that your seat is located on a globe whose equator rotates at 1,670 kilometers per hour as it races around the sun at 107,000 kilometers per hour. That speed is sluggish, however, compared to the 720,000 kilometers per hour at which the Earth, Sun, and the rest of our solar system are hurtling through the galaxy. That's about 200 kilometers, 120 miles, per second. Yet your hairstyle's not even getting messed up. Our all-important sun is only one of 100 billion or so stars in the Milky Way galaxy, which in turn is only one of 100 billion or so galaxies, all racing apart through vast, empty space at breakneck speeds. These 100 billion galaxies and billion trillion stars, along with everything else in the universe, supposedly originated from a single Big Bang within a spot smaller than a pinhead. Think about it. Unbelievable, right? It gets much weirder. That empty space everything is racing through is not empty at all. It contains dark matter, a mysterious substance that emits or reflects no light and accounts for approximately 95% of the mass in the universe, and dark energy, both of which scientists cannot identify or explain. The matter we can see, such as your chair and even your body, is composed of molecules, which in turn are comprised of atoms, which are 99.99999999999% empty space. That's correct. In essence, you and I are empty space. And we don't know specifically what empty space is. Why am I telling you this? I'm trying to loosen whatever ideas you tenaciously grasp about why we are here by first introducing the possibility that we do not really understand what we are, or where here actually is. Anyone who pays any attention to the claims and controversies of modern quantum theory will agree that our universe is much weirder and more unfathomable than previously suspected. You'll recall that I asked you to join me with no real proof in selecting the beast as an explanation for the source of your shitty thoughts. Whether or not the beast is true, the concept of the foreign installation proved useful in restoring your life force by changing the tenor of your internal world. Shortly, I'll propose an answer to why we are here that will help you reset your expectations, judgments, and reactions in your external world and live a consistently better life. Many of the scientific, quote, facts, unquote, I presented above have emerged in the last 100 years or less, yet mankind has been trying to figure out why we are here for thousands of years. Curiously, Most cultures believe human physical existence is part of a larger system that includes the continuation of individual consciousness in non-physical environments after death. Life on Earth, in most belief systems, is a testing ground where an individual's actions determine what happens to him or her after death. Perhaps you subscribe to one of them. Here are a few examples. Linear systems, such as the Abrahamic traditions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Baha'i faith, essentially believe you get one shot at living a good life, and upon your after-death judgment by a spiritual authority, you spend eternity on a plane of non-physical existence that reflects how deserving you are of reward or punishment. In a nutshell, each individual consciousness gets one shot on Earth to win eternal happiness. Picture yourself walking a tightrope in heavy winds. Your heart's every desire is on the other side. But below is the pit of hellfire. Step carefully. Oops. That's life. Cyclical systems such as Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and Sikhism generally believe humans receive unlimited chances to live a noble life and achieve enlightenment. Your actions in your most recent life determine what happens to you between lives and what situations you'll encounter when you reincarnate back into the physical realms. You stay stuck in this karmic cycle until you finally learn all your lessons and evolve into an enlightened soul. Good luck getting off that carnival ride. Newer views of spirituality also believe individual consciousness survives physical death, but they don't see each human life as a test. They instead see mankind's ultimate and inevitable evolution into superhuman, Christ-like custodians of the physical universe. For terrific examples of this perspective, see Ken Carey's Starseed Transmissions and Claire Hartsong's Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. There exist, of course, scores of other religions and theological traditions whose tenets I could oversimplify and misinterpret, such as the ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian, African, and Norse systems of belief about why we are here. My simple point, though, is that at least 80% of living humans believe in a non-physical afterlife and consider their current lives as a test of some sort. If you're part of the 20% who do not believe in any afterlife or non-physical existence, just play pretend with me for a bit longer. Consider this a metaphorical discussion. Consider this possibility. The why we are here explanation I find most compelling and useful for our goal of restoring your life force comes from the folks who claim to explore the after-death environment personally and extensively through out-of-body and similar trance states, and from those who channel information from entities that claim to inhabit the non-physical domains. Their detailed descriptions essentially depict physical existence as a training ground for gaining control over one's thoughts and emotions. As an acceptable, if imperfect metaphor, imagine the huge foam pit in a gymnastics gymnasium. As gymnasts learn a new skill, they perform repeatedly over a huge foam-filled pit, which cushions their crooked landings and falls. They advance from the foam pit only after they develop enough skill to perform the new skill on their respective apparatus with low risk of injury. Likewise, humans stay in the physical realms until they gain control over their thoughts and emotions. Then they move into a different arena. Why do we need to control our thoughts and emotions? In this paradigm, the physical world we inhabit, which remember is 99.999999999% empty space, is the densest layer of a vast multidimensional vibrational universe with countless realities. Most of them are non-physical. We see and experience only the physical layer we inhabit because our senses are tuned specifically to its vibrational frequency, much like a television is tuned to an individual station and ignores all the other existing audiovisual waves. Throughout this multi-layered universe, individual thoughts are powerful creators of reality. They mold energies, much like sculptors transform clay into fine art. A defining characteristic of each of these reality layers, both physical and non-physical, is how thought-responsive it is. That is, how quickly and easily do your individual thoughts and emotions manifest as reality. The physical plane and nearby dense layers of reality, such as the so-called astral plane, are less thought-responsive. They're stable and constant, knock on wood, because they are consensus thought realities, created and sustained by mass consciousness, that is, the compatible thoughts and beliefs of many, many minds. Each individual thought is relatively less powerful and creative here because it's just a tiny fragment of the consensus thought reality. In contrast, outer layers of the system are non-consensus realities. In these, your individual thoughts instantly and continuously create your perceptions and experiences. To ultimately gain admittance to those outer layers, each of us has to establish control over our mental and emotional gyrations. To make this concept easy to grasp, consider this depiction in The Secret of the Soul by noted author, teacher, and metaphysician
William Buhlman.
Imagine a perfect world where your thoughts instantly create any reality you choose. Whatever your heart desires is suddenly made manifest before you. Imagine yourself in an ideal world where everyone is free to explore and develop their creative pursuits and experience their unlimited potential. Does this sound like heaven? Just think what an immature or undisciplined being could or would do in this ideal thought-responsive world. One undisciplined mind would wreak complete havoc, destroying the perfection of the subtle environments. Now, for a moment, imagine what kind of educational environment would be the perfect training ground for this undisciplined mind. What kind of lessons would effectively train this disruptive mind to coexist in the thought-responsive heavenly realms? Welcome to the slowed-down molecular training ground of consciousness. Welcome to the dense training ground of matter, where focused thoughts are required in order to create and prosper. Welcome to the ideal environment where the young and undisciplined mind can learn by trial and error without contaminating the pure realm of spirit. Welcome to your life. Can this be true? Who the hell knows? It certainly is no more outlandish than whichever paradigm most of us presently endorse about why we are here. In any event, just like the beast, this paradigm can help restore your life force as painlessly as possible. Let's go with it for now. You can thank me later. In a nutshell, we humans are relegated to physical existence because we are wholly unqualified to cavort in the outer layers of the multidimensional, thought-responsive spiritual universe. We are in the Bush League, the remedial class. We are the beginners, the trainees, the misfits. Our minds are drunken monkeys. We are constrained by molecular and energetic density, so our errant thoughts don't immediately manifest chaos all around us. We are stuck in the proverbial foam pit of our magnificent multidimensional universe. What does any of this have to do with restoring your life force? In a manner similar to using the metaphor of the beast to explain your inner world and create a coping strategy for your mental shit show, we'll use the concept of being mired in the lowest, densest layer of consciousness to generate a coping strategy for preserving your life force as you engage with your external existence. This is going to be fun. Mayhem with the Misfits. Let me briefly make my case that we are gyrating in the foam pit of our multidimensional universe, and our predominant theme is Mayhem with the Misfits. Picture a preschool or kindergarten class of 30 energetic youngsters running around and enjoying being with each other. Finger painting is next on the agenda, and the teacher lays out a white poster board for each student, along with several large pots of red, blue, green, yellow, and black finger paints. Suddenly, the teacher's intestines erupt, and she rushes off to the restroom, leaving the kiddies unsupervised. One thing leads to another, and she's gone from the class for 30 minutes or so. What manner of scene does she return to? Order and serenity? Of course not. She returns to mayhem. Wildlings running around, splashing paint on the walls, desks, themselves, and each other. A couple of paint-splattered little girls in pretty dresses crying in the corner. One or two parentified kids trying vainly to establish order. In short, she encounters a microcosm of human life. I picked just a handful of headlines from daily news feeds to illustrate how whacked out our foam pit world is. Skim these headlines for a small sample of the mayhem we see on Earth every day. Oregon daycare owner gets 21 years for drugging kids, leaving them to go tanning. Woman who killed beau in YouTube stunt gets 180 days in jail. World's largest collection of garbage is now twice the size of Texas. I'm the girl who clawed her own eyes out. This is my story. Record numbers of college students are seeking treatment for depression and anxiety, but schools can't keep up. Naked gunman kills 4 in Waffle House shooting, remains at large. German nurse who murdered 87 patients given life sentence. DNA test reveals fertility doctor used own sperm to impregnate patient. Pennsylvania man steals mom's car before backing over her and fleeing scene, police say. 24.9 million persons trapped in modern-day slavery. Indonesian woman swallowed whole by 23-foot python. Mississippi man killed wife and friends after they wouldn't let him drive drunk, police say. Catholic priests abused 1,000 kids in Pennsylvania, report says. My fiancé postponed our wedding, secretly bought a house, and told me I could pay rent. I could go on with this, but you see the point, right? Perhaps you retort that most of the world's population flows through the day in an orderly fashion, and these headlines are eye-popping because they are so unusual. Fair enough, but bear in mind that in the last century alone, humans murdered about 200 million members of their own species through war, famine, and oppression. For gruesome details, check out http://necrometrics.com/ALL20C.htm. It's impossible to picture that many people, let alone imagining their suffering and the mayhem that caused it. Still not convinced our dominant planetary theme is mayhem with the misfits? We humans are wreaking havoc on other members of the animal kingdom, not just upon ourselves. According to the World Wildlife Fund, humans have wiped out about half the world's wild animals since 1970. That's less than one human lifetime. Let's not even talk about the percentage of wild animals obliterated before 1970. Journalist Elizabeth Kolbert won a Pulitzer Prize for her 2014 book, The Sixth Extinction, An Unnatural History, which predicts mankind will exterminate 20 to 50% of all flora and fauna species by the end of this century. Well, that's enough effort to promote the notion that Earth is the remedial training ground for human consciousness, and our dominant theme, mayhem with the misfits, is at least as defensible as whatever concepts most of us currently endorse. I can't blame you if you're stubbornly resisting this idea. First, I informed you that an invisible, inorganic beast incessantly force-feeds your shitty thoughts so it can devour your life force. And now I assert that you're ensconced for countless lifetimes in a dense vibrational foam pit with a bunch of misfits hell-bent on mayhem. Yikes. No wonder you're depressed and/or anxious. Believe it or not, accepting this theme will help you restore and retain your life force. Here's how endorsing mayhem with the misfits can reset your expectations and reactions in your external world and help you feel immediate relief. Number 1. You realize you're right where you need to be. You definitely do not have control of your thoughts, am I right? You belong here in the foam pit to minimize the existential damage caused by your drunken monkey thinking. Number 2. Guess what? Pretty much everyone else you encounter in daily life is here for the same reason you are. They suck at controlling their thoughts. They might be richer, prettier, smarter, healthier, more athletic, and more popular than you, but hey, they're stuck in the foam pit too. Number 3. Being burdened with a ravenous beast might mean you are an advanced player on this foam pit level of our multidimensional reality. Maybe you're earning extra points by bearing the beast. Number 4. You're now vigorously bitch-slapping the beast all the livelong day, which is a major step towards controlling your thoughts and emotions and graduating to a lovelier level of existence. Number 5. If you kill yourself now, you'll probably end up right back on this level in your next life, dealing with the misfits and their mayhem. So you might as well hang around and finish this episode of your personal series. Number 6. You no longer need to become upset when shit happens in your daily life. What can you expect from the misfits but mayhem? Nothing anyone does can ever surprise you or knock you off center. You'll simply raise your eyebrows, shrug your shoulders, and say, mayhem with the misfits. Number 7. Instead of expecting everything in life to go your way and getting annoyed and angry when things go awry, you can be truly appreciative when any endeavor turns out half as well as you hoped. Take any positive outcome as a sign that you just made a small step toward reaching another level. Just to be sure you're grokking the value of Mayhem with the Misfits, let's construct a couple of examples. Imagine you finally bought the fabulous new car you've been saving for over many months. You wash and wax it till it gleams, and you proudly transport your pals to a fantastic concert. When you return to the parking lot after the show, you realize some asshole has dragged his key along the length of your car, inscribing a long, jagged scratch across the shiny red finish. Previously, you would have had a shit fit, ranted and raged, and been unable to stop thinking about the injustice of life. Or maybe you would have been furious with yourself for manifesting such a shitty reality. Now, with your wisdom of accepting life in the foam pit, you simply raise your eyebrows, shrug your shoulders, mumble, "Mayhem with the frigging Misfits," and get on with your evening.
As another surprisingly common example, imagine you come home early from a stressful day of work, feeling feverish, and trudge into your bedroom to find your beloved mate enthusiastically fornicating with your best friend. Holy crap! Previously, you would flip out and, perhaps depending on your gender, either head for your gun cabinet or to the kitchen pantry to binge on chocolate. Now, you are unshaken. What can you expect from Misfits? You breezily snap a couple of pics of the naked fuckers and post them to your social media accounts.
I could do this all day, but it's your turn to write one memorable Mayhem with the Misfits example from your own experience in the foam pit. Do so now on page 26 of your PDF workbook. You now possess a potent paradigm for dealing with the external shitstorms that invade your daily life. Let's drill down to specific ways to cope with the people in your life who drain your life force. Move on to Hack 5.